Welcome to another video on my Raspberry Pi 2 right here, running a Raspbian or RaspberryPiOS, which is a slightly different or new name for Raspbian Linux. And like last time, I have attached a camera. But the camera is not pointed anymore at the Raspberry Pi, but at this yet empty breadboard, which means that I'm going to include some electronics, which is also just like this, made of fischertechnik. The purpose is to make some data acquisition, and details of the wiring and the construction of the fischertechnik will be shown in extended part of the video, which is for patrons only, which is not this one, but only on Patreon. Anyway, for that, Patreon only, see below the video to see how you get there. Anyway, enough talking about the intro. Let's get to work with getting the camera to work, because that is most important at this moment. Alright, before I could go on, because this looks like a pretty normal situation, is that I had to replace VNC server. It was real VNC, not Tiger VNC, and the problem was that I could not connect. I can with my iPad, but I want to see it on screen, which I couldn't. So uninstall real VNC, install Tiger VNC or Tight VNC, which one ever it was. Tiger VNC indeed, Tight VNC it was, and the Tiger VNC viewer. But anyway, it works now. It also pointed me to the fact that I, after the initial install, had not reconfigured it. So right now that camera is not able to work right now. So I need to do that right now, either from the and by the way, this is the minicom session over the network interface. So actually an SSH session, not minicom. I have, is that correct? Yeah, it's minicom. Yep. So minicom after all. Okay. Which means it is a serial connection. So I can install it from here, and I can install it from here. Now if I have the camera working, it will be a large display, so better not from here. May take a bit, so that is one thing that I have to do, and after that I can check the camera out, which should point to this breadboard. And it says it's already the newest version, so let me check, where can I find, oh here, okay. And yes, here it is. Not pointed correct, so let me put it like this then. So two different views, one from the camera that is connected to the laptop, and one that is connected to, indeed, the Raspberry Pi. So this makes it smaller. And what I intend to do is putting some fischertechnik with it, which means this phototransistor and this LED. But I may also use this LED. So either one of them is going to work together with some circuitry here. So things to decide is which GPIO on that connector I'm going to use in Python, and then control it. And yes, that's Python only. Alright, I have made one construction with a little wiring, and yet I have to program it, and after programming, measuring the voltage that's coming from it, which is to be designed, and as well Python only. But the obvious thing is from here getting some voltage over here, a signal, read it from here, then after measuring if it is good, from here to the Raspberry Pi and get on screen what the voltage is. And then of course using it from here. So either I program it here or I program it here, whichever is better. But I'll have to see how that works out. Okay, so now I have written some Python code. I have enabled SSH on the Raspberry Pi, and you will have to watch my Python only video about this to see how. And the only thing I want to do now is see if this LED is working. So let's go. Okay, it doesn't do anything. That's a bummer. Plus goes here. Is that justified or is that not justified at all? This is ground, which is correct. This is an LED. Out comes 5 volt, I think, or 3.3 volts. If 3.3 volts, I should rather connect this one. And let me just do that. So I am going to connect this one. No, that's not good. I'm going to connect it like this. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Because this one is power and this one is ground. So if something works out, it should be like that. Is already in use. Continuing anyway. I should probably close everything after running. Yep, okay. A little bit back to the drawing board then. Alright, to be sure that things on the Raspberry Pi side actually do work, I changed port here, and I added a cleanup, and then this happens. And watch here, because on this side it is much less viewable. Maybe I should do this instead. And guess what? The LED works. This one doesn't. So I may have to check that one. And I would be very surprised if it was broken. Never happened before, that one. Ordinary LEDs, yes, they gave up. But these LEDs actually not. So now I do know that that is working. Next step is for next time to actually get some wiring notified using the schematics designer, and to wire up the phototransistor. So, bottom line for this episode is that Raspberry Pi works. With Python I have taken the breadboard with some with a little bit of electronics and fischertechnik in use again. Problem is still that the screen doesn't do anything, despite that HDMI cable from here is still attached. So that's a mystery to me. Maybe it's settings, who knows. Anyway, I have serial cable, network cable and band cable in use again. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and give the video a thumbs up. Please leave a comment or suggestion. Very much appreciated. You can also follow me via Instagram and Twitter. And please donate via either PayPal or IBAN. You don't need a PayPal account to donate. And you can also support by becoming a patron at thanks to my patrons mentioned on my website. This is to be continued, obviously. So stay safe, take care, bye.